the harvest feast. Thanksgiving was always a joyous occasion. In our family, a time for laughter, warmth, and the comforting aroma of a turkey roasting in the oven. Little did we know that this year's Thanksgiving would be tainted by an unspeakable horror that lurked in the shadows of gratitude. As the golden autumn leaves adorned the landscape, our family gathered in our ancestral home, nestled in a quaint town surrounded by dense woods. The air was filled with the promise of festivities, but an unease lingered beneath the surface. I couldn't shake the feeling that something ominous lurked in the shadows, waiting to disrupt the idyllic Thanksgiving celebration. The day began with a sense of normalcy. The table was adorned with a cornucopia of seasonal delights, and the air was filled with the sounds of laughter and merriment. However, as the day wore on, an unnatural chill settled over the house, casting a pallor over the festivities. As we gathered around the table for the grand feast, an unsettling stillness blanketed the room. The turkey, perfectly cooked and steaming, took center stage. But the warmth that usually accompanied Thanksgiving seemed to dissipate, replaced by a foreboding cold that clung to the air. The first bite was a disconcerting experience. The savory flavors of the turkey seemed to be overshadowed by an indescribable bitterness. Dismissing it as a culinary anomaly, I continued to eat, trying to ignore the gnawing sense of unease that lingered in the background. As the night deepened, a sense of disquiet settled over the household. A strange malaise afflicted us all, and the warmth of familial bonds seemed to wane. The once festive atmosphere now felt oppressive, and the flickering candlelight cast eerie shadows on the walls. As I retired to my room, the unsettling sensations intensified. Whispers echoed through the darkened halls, indistinct murmurs that seemed to carry the weight of unspoken secrets. The ancestral home, once a haven of comfort, now felt like a labyrinth of shadows and unseen horrors. In the dead of night, a dissonant melody echoed through the house, an otherworldly chorus that sent shivers down my spine. I followed the haunting sound, my steps guided by an unseen force. The source of the melody led me to the heart of the woods, where an ancient tree stood, its gnarled branches reaching towards the heavens. Beneath the twisted roots of the ancient tree, I discovered a hidden chamber macabre tableau of horror. The remnants of a forgotten ritual adorned the chamber, and the ghastly truth unraveled before me. The Thanksgiving feast had been tainted by a sinister harvest, a ritual that harnessed the essence of gratitude to feed an unspeakable darkness. The spirits of the woods, angered by the intrusion, whispered tales of an ancient pact, the townsfolk sacrificing their gratitude to sustain a malevolent force that dwelled within the roots of the ancient tree. The once noble tradition of Thanksgiving had devolved into a nightmarish ritual, and we, unwitting participants, had become vessels for the unspeakable harvest. In a desperate bid to break the curse cycle, I confronted the malevolent force within the chamber. The air crackled with an unseen energy as I uttered words of defiance, severing the ties that bound us to the ritual. The ancient tree trembled, and a chilling wind swept through the woods, carrying the whispers of liberated spirits. As dawn broke, the ancestral home stood silent, its halls free from the oppressive darkness that had tainted Thanksgiving. The townsfolk, once enthralled by the ritual's grip, awoke to a new day, their memories of the unspeakable harvest fading like a haunting dream. The Thanksgiving horror story became a chilling tale of gratitude, turned malevolent a reminder that even the most cherished traditions could be corrupted by forces beyond our comprehension. As the town grappled with the aftermath, the ancient tree stood as a silent sentinel, its twisted roots forever intertwined with the spectral echoes of an unholy feast. Feast of Shadows. Thanksgiving, a day of gratitude, family, and feasting. Little did I know that the annual tradition would take a sinister turn, unraveling into a nightmarish tableau that forever stained the memories of the cherished holiday. Our family gathered at the ancestral home, the scent of roasting turkey filling the air. Laughter and warmth enveloped the dining room as we shared stories and indulged in the bountiful feast. Yet, beneath the surface, an unsettling energy lurked, an ominous foreshadowing that escaped our conscious awareness. As night fell and the festivities reached their peak, a sudden chill descended upon the room. The warmth of family bonds seemed to wane, replaced by an unspoken tension. The air, thick with an unseen presence, echoed with whispers that danced at the periphery of our consciousness. I attributed the unease to the flickering candlelight and the encroaching shadows, but the darkness that clung to the edges of the room harbored an otherworldly malevolence. Unseen eyes seemed to watch our every move, and a spectral hush settled over the gathering. As we sat down for the customary Thanksgiving prayer, the atmosphere shifted, the room quivered with an otherworldly energy, and the shadows coalesced into grotesque forms. The air became charged with an unseen force, and a disconcerting silence replaced the once festive chatter. The Thanksgiving feast, once a symbol of abundance, now transformed into a macabre display. The turkey, carved with precision, revealed an unsettling resemblance to a sacrificial offering. The side dishes, once comforting, seemed to harbor a spectral energy that tainted the air with an unnatural stillness. A sense of dread settled over the room. As we partook in the eerily silent feast, the whispers, now indistinct and haunting, mingled with the clinking of cutlery. Unseen hands seemed to guide our movements, puppeteering the familial ritual into a surreal dance of shadows. The darkness that clung to the edges of the room deepened, and the ancestral home became a labyrinth of spectral illusions. Doors creaked open on their own, revealing glimpses of ghostly figures that lingered in the shadows. The air pulsed with a malevolent energy, and the once familiar surroundings warped into a haunting tableau. Desperation seized me as I tried to make sense of the surreal nightmare that unfolded during our Thanksgiving gathering. The whispers escalated into anguished cries, and the spectre of a long-forgotten tragedy materialized in the midst of the feast. The ancestral home, now a vessel for otherworldly forces, seemed to bridge the gap between the living and the spectral realm. In a moment of terror, I sought to break free from the spectral grasp that ensnared our family. With a surge of courage, I uttered words of protection, a plea for release from the malevolent forces that had tainted the Thanksgiving celebration. The room quivered as if acknowledging the desperate invocation. As dawn broke, the ancestral home stood silent and still. The shadows that had danced along the walls faded into the morning light, and the air regained a sense of normalcy. The remnants of the Thanksgiving feast, now devoid of the spectral illusions, appeared as ordinary remnants of a holiday gathering. Yet, the memories of that Thanksgiving lingered, etched in the minds of our family. The ancestral home, once a sanctuary of familiar warmth, became a haunting reminder of a feast tainted by the shadows of the supernatural. The annual tradition, forever marked by that fateful night, cast a long spectral shadow over the once celebrated holiday of gratitude. Harvest of Shadows. Thanksgiving, a time for warmth, gratitude, and family gatherings. Little did I know that the quaint holiday would unravel into a nightmarish feast, a macabre celebration that transcended the boundaries of tradition. Our family Thanksgiving was held in a centuries-old farmhouse. Nestled in the heart of the countryside, the air was thick with the scent of roasting turkey, and laughter echoed through the halls as relatives reunited for the annual gathering. As the evening unfolded, an unsettling unease settled upon the farmhouse, casting a pall over the festivities. As we sat down to feast, the atmosphere shifted. The flickering candlelight seemed to cast elongated shadows that danced with an eerie grace. The warmth of the hearth couldn't dispel the chilling undercurrent that pervaded the room. The air became heavy, pregnant with an unspoken tension that eluded explanation. The Thanksgiving table, adorned with an array of delectable dishes, held a centerpiece that sent shivers down my spine, a cornucopia filled, not with the bounties of the harvest, but with twisted, contorted shapes that resembled gnarled fingers and grotesque figures. The once festive decor took on a sinister demeanor, casting an ominous shadow over the celebratory spread. As the night wore on, an ancestral hush settled upon the farmhouse. The laughter faded, replaced by a haunting silence that seemed to reverberate with the echoes of forgotten tales. Uneasy glances were exchanged, but no one dared to voice the unsettling atmosphere that had gripped the Thanksgiving gathering. In the midst of the uneasy quiet, a distant sound emerged, an eerie melody that seemed to emanate from the heart of the farmhouse. The haunting notes carried a spectral resonance, weaving through the air like a ghostly symphony. The source of the haunting melody remained elusive, as if the very walls of the farmhouse echoed with the sorrows of the past. As the night deepened, an otherworldly mist enveloped the farmhouse. The warmth of the hearth became a cold, haunting glow that cast long, twisted shadows on the walls. Family portraits, once frozen in time, seemed to come alive with spectral energy, their subjects staring with hollow eyes that followed our every move. In a collective moment of dread, the farmhouse seemed to pulsate with an unseen force. The ancestral spirits, angered by the intrusion of the living, sought to make their presence known. The haunting melody reached a crescendo, and the contorted shapes in the cornucopia twisted and writhed, as if responding to a malevolent conductor. Suddenly, the farmhouse plunged into darkness, a void that seemed to swallow the flickering candlelight. The Thanksgiving table, once a symbol of familiar warmth, became a spectral banquet for the ancestral spirits. Plates rattled, chairs scraped against the floor, and the haunting melody merged with the anguished whispers of the unseen. In the suffocating darkness, a ghostly figure materialized, a spectral ancestor, adorned in tattered garments. Its hollow eyes bore into mine, conveying a silent accusation. The ancestral spirits, angered by the intrusion of the living, sought retribution for the forgotten sins that lingered in the shadows of the farmhouse. As the first light of dawn broke, the farmhouse returned to an eerie calm. The haunting melody faded, the ancestral mist dissipated, and the contorted shapes in the cornucopia stilled. The Thanksgiving gathering, once a celebration of warmth and gratitude, had become a macabre dance with the spirits that lingered in the shadows of the harvest. As we left the farmhouse, the chilling memory of that Thanksgiving night lingered. The ancestral spirits, though appeased for the moment, had left an indelible mark on the tradition. The farmhouse, once a haven of familiar warmth, stood as a testament to the shadows that could be unleashed when the veil between the living and the ancestral realm grew thin, an unexpected harvest of shadows that cast a haunting pall over the Thanksgiving feast.